Box 29, we'll just look at each meter. I'll make a list at the end. Weston 100 milliamp full scale RF ammeter. Westinghouse 1 amp DC full scale. Marion modulation meter. General meters sealed and ruggedized 1.7 volts and 3.41 volts full scale. 3 terminals. Navy General Electric 1 amp DC full scale. 4.5 inch diameter Weston. I think this is 50 microamps full scale with 3 scales. 2 3/4 on the back. McClintock panel meter for a VOM. Weston 5 volts full scale, 50,000 ohms per volt sensitivity. Flat mount, 3-inch on center. 450 hertz, 400 hertz center line frequency meter by Hickok. Can't read this. 10 amps full scale, 63 ohms per volt. It's a Weston. 4.5 inch meter, 100 milliamps full scale. About a 4-inch hole. Hewlett-Packard instrument meter, probably from a signal generator. Triumph Manufacturing Company, another VOM meter. This is a line adjust voltmeter for Hickok military TVU7 tube tester. Phasotron, 100 ohm resistance, full scale 1 milliamp, calibrated in kilo ohms. Some kind of military, probably a voltohm meter. Yeah, voltohm meter, panel meter. Interesting. Western Electric. In scale, this is 1 milliamp full scale, 0 center, plus or minus 1 milliamp, 0 to 100. A large meter, about a 4-inch hole. Another Hewlett-Packard meter. This one is calibrated as a volt and ohm meter. Full scale 1 milliamp. This one, this 100 microamp full scale meter made by WAC line. So it's 100 amp, 100 milliamps, or 100 microamps, very sensitive meter. Percent mod meter, full scale 200 microamps. It's a Honeywell. Weston meter, 50 microamps full scale. 30, 50, and 100 are the scales of model 1531, sealed and ruggedized. Another military volt-ohm meter, full scale 1 milliamp, ruggedized, sealed. Nice meter, but the scale has gotten damp. This is a Weston model 301, 0 center, 100 microamps plus or minus. Hewlett-Packard percent mod 100. Can't tell you what the movement is. You'll have to measure it. Another voltometer meter. This one is a Phasotron from South Pasadena. Full scale, 50 microamps. Some nice sensitive meters here. This one's Full scale 200 microamps. This is a de jour meter. Relative power, calibration level, that's the scale. Sealed and ruggedized, 1956 it looks like. Another voltometer, 1 volt full scale. This is a voltometer. Another WAC line. Can't read this. Looks like full scale is 1 milliamp. Another similar meter. Full scale 50 microamps, another VOM meter. And an RF ammeter, 100 milliamps, full scale. And this is a Weston. That's a nice meter. So that's box number 29. I didn't write them all down. I should have. I'll get it off of the video, I guess, and make a chart. Okay, this is box 30, something over 70 meters here. I'll try to go through these in groups with similar capacities, and that might make it a little easier. Let's look at the RF ammeters first. They're the rarest. There's Weston 300 milliamps full scale RF ammeter. Another Weston 2 amp full scale RF ammeter. Let's see, that's a view meter. General Electric looks like 1 amp full scale. General Electric 1 amp full scale RF ammeter. Weston 100 milliamp full scale RF ammeter. This one is a Weston 3 amps RF ammeter full scale. And let's see, this one's another Weston 2 amps full scale. Okay, now we got some view meters. Here's a Burlington. Here's a Telectro. Here's a Weston, probably military. Okay, let's see. Now we'll just go through some other types of meters. Signal Core 10 amp DC meter. Don't know who made it. This one is calibrated VSWR, modulation percentage and RF power. To look at what it says. Full scale 1 milliamp, so that's not too hard to figure out. And that one is made by Simpson. Phasetron 1 milliwatt reference decibel calibration. AC volts 300 volts, looks like a Weston. Weston electric meter, 1 milliwatt in 600 ohms. So that's basically a view meter, 0 dB. That's a view meter, full scale 2 milliamps. Supreme tube tester meter. Hickok DC milliamps meter, full scale 50 microamps. Couple of nice Columbia modern looking meters. Volts peak to peak, so it's an AC voltmeter, 10 volts. DC microamp, that's a triplet, but it matches. And what's that say? I guess it's a 100 microamp meter. More, let's see, 300 milliamps. That's a Marion. 3 amps a matching meter. 150 milliamp DC. Who made that one? Roller Smith. Okay, AC output meter, resistance 4,000 ohms, calibrated 1.5 and 6 volts AC. A couple of more RF ammeters I skipped. These are 350 milliamp RF ammeters. There's a pair of those. Let's see, we looked at the view meters, microammeters, 100 microamps, zero center, calibrated in dBm, full scale, says, see, resistance 75 ohms, full scale, I don't know, something microamps. Another zero center 100 microamp meter, another zero center 100 microamp meter, 100 microamp meter Westinghouse, looks like military. This says output RMS here. I guess it's 1.2 volts, that's all we know about it. Percent modulation meter up to 50, 100 microamp movement. Here's a nice looking modern meter. It's got 10 and 50 volt, 10 amps and 50 volt scales on it. You have to figure that out. Percent load current. Full scale. 1 amp, milliamp AC. DC millivolts, zero center, plus or minus 5 DC millivolts. Triad, that's another microvolt meter. A couple of Navy dB meters. This is like off of an RAL7 or something like that. GC milliamps, 200 broken glass, but the meter's good. DC milliamps, the same, 200 milliamps. Ford, this is probably a Model A ammeter, plus or minus 20 amps, 6 volts, I'm sure. 1 milliamp full scale, 1 milliamp full scale, 1 milliamp full scale. Back here we've got a bag of these little miniature meters. These are like a inch or inch and a quarter whole panel, and I think they're 1 milliamp full scale. I think I have about 5 of those. There's 3 in that bag, and I've got some more. These are interesting. These are panel meters from Bird Throughline watt meters. This one is calibrated 25, 50, and 100 watts. This one is calibrated 15 and 60 watts, and this one is calibrated 25, 50, and 100 with the little connector where it tied to whatever the sensor was. So there we go. I'll list all these if I get the energy, but if you need a meter, you can match them up from these. Okay, this is my box of sets of meters, matched meters. There's a few unmatched individual meters here, but most of these are in sets. So let's look at those first. Here's 3 Weston meters here, 2 1/8 inch meters. Peak volts 5, 10, or 20. Microamps with an adjustable limit thing. Set carrier volts 30 or 50. I don't know what the full scale is on it, but anyway, Phasetron with dBm markings on it. Another Phasetron 1 milliamp full scale. Here are 3 General Electric meters, probably from a transmitter or something else. DC volts, 2.5 volts it looks like, DC milliamps to 1, and DC milliamps to 50. Those are SB meters with GE logos on the cases. These are Westinghouse meters, 100 milliamps, and a VU meter. These meters are made by who? I don't know who they're made by, but yeah, they're Westinghouse. These are, some are Westinghouse and some are, well, let's see, these are Westinghouse here. These three are Westinghouse. 50 milliamps, 100 milliamps, and 1 milliamp. These are Weston, set of 4, 5, probably a Navy, all the same case. 50 milliamps, 1 milliamp, 10 amps, RF. Oh, this should be in with the RF ammeters. And this one's a view meter. Back here, these are Simpson meters. Rather nice meters. 50 microamps, 1 milliamp, a view meter, and 50 volts full scale. These are one-offs here. 200 milliamps, 200 microamps, Ray Electric, and this one is 100 milliamps, and that one is made by who? That's a Weston. Okay, another Weston. These three are Burlington meters over here. Two have a similar same bezel, and one has a slightly different bezel, but the scales are identical types, so they match pretty well. 1 milliamp, 1 milliamp, and what is this one? $100 milliamps. Okay, so there's the sets, and then we've got some one-offs. The most interesting one-off might be this one. This is Collins Radio, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. 25 milliamps full scale, and no indication otherwise who made this. So definitely an interesting meter with the cutoff corners. So it's an octagon case, an angled bezel, and 25 milliamps. A very unique meter. Here's a Roller Smith, 2 milliamps. This is from a voltometer. This is a Simpson, from somebody's Simpson voltometer. So if you've got a nice instrument with a bad meter, there's a chance. Early 1900s Weston meter. Handwritten in here says 0 equals 280 microamps, and that might refer to this in the middle of the scale. Some other one-offs. This is a Simpson. The bezel just doesn't match any of the others. This is a Sun Electric. Full scale equals 1 milliamp. 0 to 100. Full scale equals 1 milliamp. This one is a, I don't know, it looks like a Weston, but I don't know. And 1 milliamp. So this is a unique meter, doesn't match anything else. It's a very modern Joule meter, very nice meter. 150 amps, volts, DC, full scale. Nice power supply meter for somebody. So that's this box of matched meters. Here's an interesting radio. Probably went to Russia or some other Lend-Lease country where they didn't do the our numbers or our alphabet. So brand new in the box.